When a man stops chasing her, world shifts and suddenly the power is no longer in her hands. She starts to notice what she took for granted, and when she feels that loss, her reaction reveals everything. Are you ready to understand what really happens when you prioritize yourself and let her feel the weight of your absence? Stay with me. This will change the way you see women relationships and yourself as a man. Man, this is the truth. No one will tell you the moment you stop chasing when you pull back and focus on yourself. She feels it. It's not just your absence. She notices it's the absence of her control over you. Modern relationships are built on a delicate balance of power. And when you decide to prioritize your self-respect over her validation, the balance shifts in your favor. Women are wired to respond to that shift, to feel the loss of attention and to question their actions. Today, we're diving deep into what happens when you take back your power, the psychological reactions it triggers, and how you as a man can rise above the games and drama. If you're ready to stop chasing, start leading, and command the respect you've always deserved. Stay tuned. Number 1. The shift in dynamics the moment you stop chasing. The moment you pull back and focus on yourself, the entire dynamic changes in ways most men never see coming. It's not just a shift in how she feels. It's a shift in power, a shift in control, and a shift in how you see yourself as a man. And let's be clear, in today's world where attention is given freely and validation is everywhere, this shift is more powerful than ever. Every man needs to understand this truth because it separates those who get walked over from those who command respect. Most men live in a loop. They think relationships are about endless effort, texting, first calling, often planning every date, and constantly trying to keep her interested. But here's what no one tells you. The more you do, the less she values you. It's a brutal reality, but it's the truth. Women don't respect what's handed to them on a silver platter. They respect what they have to work for, what they fear. Losing what feels rare and unattainable. If you've spent your life chasing, you already know how exhausting it is. You feel drained, unappreciated, and sometimes completely invisible. That's not because you're unworthy, it's because you've been playing the game wrong. Women are wired to test your strength. It's in their nature. They want to know if you're the kind of man who stands firm or the kind who bends at the first sign of resistance, when you're always chasing, when you're constantly available. You fail that test every single time you tell her, without even realizing it, that you value her more than you value yourself. And once she sees that, the respect starts to fade. She won't say it outright. Women rarely do, but her actions will make it clear. She'll become distant, distracted, and less invested. She'll take your effort for granted because to her it's always there. But when you stop, when you pull back and shift your energy to yourself, that's when everything changes. At first, she might not even notice. She's used to you, always being there, always reaching out, always making an effort. But as the hours turn into days and the days into weeks, she starts to feel it. Your absence isn't just physical, it's emotional, it's psychological. She begins to question what happened, why you're not chasing anymore, why your attention is suddenly out of reach. And this is where the real shift happens. Understand this: women are drawn to mystery. It's in their psychology. The moment you become predictable, the moment you become an open book, the intrigue is gone. But when you pull back, when you create space, you become that mystery again. She starts replaying old conversations, rereading your messages, wondering what went wrong or what changed. This isn't about manipulation. It's about reclaiming the balance in a relationship for too long. You've been the one doing all the work, and now for the first time she's feeling the weight of your absence. Let's talk about modern relationships for a moment. We live in a world where validation is everywhere. Social media, dating apps, DMs from random guys, it's an endless supply of attention for most women. But here's the secret they don't want you to know. None of that attention matters. It's shallow. It's fleeting. What truly impacts her is the man who can walk away, the man who doesn't need her validation, the man who values his time and energy too much to give it away so easily. That's the man she can't forget. That's the man who stands out in a sea of desperate chasing men. When you stop chasing, you're no longer just another guy in her inbox. You're the one who got away. You're the one who doesn't fit into her usual pattern, and that's what drives her crazy. Women crave certainty, but they're addicted to uncertainty. They want to feel secure, but they also want to feel like they've earned it. When you pull back, you create that uncertainty. You make her question herself, her choices, and her behavior. And in doing so, you shift the dynamic entirely. What does pulling back actually look like? It's not about playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about genuinely focusing on yourself. It's about redirecting all the energy you've been pouring into her and using it to improve your life. Hit the gym, start a new project, learn a skill, build your business, do something that reminds you of your own value and keeps your mind off her. Because here's the truth, the moment you stop chasing her, you start attracting her. And it's not because of some magical trick. It's because women are deeply drawn to men who are focused, confident, and independent. Think about it this way. If you're constantly texting her, constantly calling her, constantly trying to make plans, what message are you sending? You're telling her that she's the center of your world, that you have nothing better to do, that your life revolves around her. And while that might sound romantic in a movie in real life, it's a turnoff. Women don't want to be your purpose. They want to join a man who already has purpose. They want to be part of your life, not the reason for your life when you stop chasing. You force her to look at the relationship differently. She starts to ask herself questions she's never had to ask before. Did I take him for granted? Did I push him away? Is he seeing someone else? These questions create a sense of urgency, a fear of loss, a desire to win back your attention. And that's when the dynamic flips. Suddenly, she's the one texting first. She's the one making plans. She's the one putting in the effort. Why? Because you've shown her that your attention isn't free, it's earned. But here's the most important part: pulling back isn't about punishing her. It's not about playing games or trying to make her feel bad. It's about respecting yourself enough to stop giving your time and energy to someone who isn't reciprocating. It's about recognizing your own worth and refusing to settle for anything less than mutual effort and respect. And when you approach it from that mindset, everything changes, not just in your relationship, but in your entire life. You become more confident, more focused, more driven. You stop seeking validation from others because you found it within yourself. And that confidence, that self-respect, is what makes you truly attractive. It's not about what you say or how you look. It's about how you carry yourself, how you value yourself, how you live your life. Women can sense that energy and they're drawn to it like moths to a flame. Number 2, her emotional reactions when you pull back and stop chasing her. Emotional world changes, and whether or not she shows it right away, she feels it. Deeply, women are emotional creatures, far more in tune with subtle shifts in dynamics than most men realize the moment you withdraw your attention. It's like you've thrown a wrench into her carefully constructed perception of control. She might act like it doesn't bother her. Maybe she'll stay silent or try to seem unaffected, but don't be fooled. The ripple effects of your absence begin almost immediately, and they reveal truths about modern relationships that most men are too blind to see. Women are used to men chasing them. It's a constant in their lives from the moment she posted her first selfie or signed up for a dating app. Her world has been flooded with attention messages, likes, compliments, offers validation at every turn. Most men are desperate for her time, her smile, her acknowledgement, and she knows it. But when you step away from that crowd, when you stop behaving like every other man, you stand out in a way she cannot ignore. It's not just your absence. She notices it's the void you leave behind, and the emotions that follow that realization are powerful. First, she feels confusion. Why did you stop chasing? Why are you no longer checking in, initiating plans, or reacting to her every move? This isn't what she's used to. She's accustomed to being the prize, to being pursued without effort. Your absence creates a puzzle she feels compelled to solve, but this confusion quickly evolves into something deeper. She begins to feel curiosity, a need to understand what changed and why you're no longer giving her the attention she took for granted. This curiosity leads to reflection. She starts asking herself questions she hasn't considered before. Did I push him away? Was I too distant? Did he meet someone else? And these questions are dangerous not for you, but for her. Because the more she reflects, the more she starts to see the cracks in her behavior. She realizes she's taken your effort for granted. He realizes she's been distant, dismissive, or unappreciative. And suddenly the power dynamic shifts. You're no longer the man chasing her. You're the man she fears losing as this fear grows. Her emotions intensify. Fear of loss is one of the most primal human emotions, and it hits women especially hard in relationships. A woman doesn't want to lose a man who values himself because deep down she knows that kind of man is rare. She knows most men are desperate, needy, and willing to settle for less. But a man who walks away, a man who refuses to chase, that's a man who has options. A man who doesn't need her. A man who's in control of his life, and that realization shakes her to her core. So how does she respond? This is where things get interesting. Women react in a variety of ways when they feel the power dynamic shifting. And each reaction tells you something critical about her mindset. Some women will go silent, pretending not to care. They'll act like your absence doesn't bother them, like they're too busy or too independent to notice, but make no mistake. Silence is rarely a sign of indifference. Silence is often her way of testing your resolve, of seeing if you'll crack first and reach out. She's waiting to see if you're the man who stays strong or the man who folds under pressure. Other women will take a more direct approach. They'll start texting you out of the blue, asking subtle questions like, "How have you been?" Or, "We haven't talked in a while." Don't mistake these messages for casual conversation. They're fishing for information, trying to gauge where you stand and whether you've moved on. Some women might even go a step further, asking outright why you've been distant or less engaged. These questions aren't just about curiosity, they're about control. She wants to know if she still has power over you, if she can still pull you back into her orbit. And then there are the women who take the indirect route. They'll post photos or stories on social media designed to get your attention, pictures with other men, quotes about moving on, or even throwbacks to happier times with you. These posts are calculated. They're meant to provoke a reaction, to make you feel jealous, to draw you back into the game. But here's the key. The moment you react, you lose the moment you let her see that her actions have gotten to you. You give her the power she's desperately trying to reclaim. But perhaps the most telling reaction of all is effort. When a woman feels she's losing you, she'll start trying harder. She'll text more often, call more frequently, and go out of her way to initiate plans. You'll notice changes in her behavior. She'll suddenly become more affectionate, more attentive, more eager to please. She might even change her appearance, dressing differently, wearing makeup, or doing things she knows you like. This isn't just about getting your attention, it's about earning back the validation she once took for granted. You might wonder, why does she care now? After all this time, the answer is simple: scarcity. When something becomes scarce, its value increases your attention. Once abundant and freely given is now limited, and that limitation makes it more desirable. Women are wired to value what they might lose, to chase what feels just out of reach by pulling back. By focusing on yourself, you've created that sense of scarcity. You've shown her that your time and energy are not infinite, that they're reserved for those who truly appreciate them. But here's the most important thing to understand: her reactions are not your responsibility. They're a reflection of her emotions, her insecurities, and her understanding of the relationship dynamic. Your job is not to manage her feelings or to play into her games. Your job is to stay grounded, to maintain your focus, and to continue building the life you want. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about her. It's about you. It's about reclaiming your power, your peace, and your sense of self-worth. When you see her reacting, whether it's through silence, questions, tests, or effort, remember this: her emotions are not a reflection of your value. They're a reflection of the shift in dynamics you've created by valuing yourself. And that shift is the most powerful thing you can bring to any relationship. By stepping back, you forced her to see you in a new light. Not as a man who chases, but as a man who is worth chasing. Number 3, staying composed. Staying composed is the defining characteristic of a man who commands respect in every room he walks into, in every interaction he has, and most importantly, in every relationship he chooses to entertain. It is the core difference between men who lead and men who chase, between men who are sought after and men who are discarded the moment their utility expires. And if you're still here reading this, you already know you're not like most men. You're not the guy who cracks under pressure or folds at the first sign of resistance. You're here because you want to embody the kind of masculinity that is unshakable, the kind that demands respect without ever having to ask for it. Let's talk about what staying composed really means. Especially in the chaos of modern relationships today, we live in a world where emotions run wild, where everyone feels entitled to immediate reactions, and where strength is often mistaken for weakness. Most men live as slaves to their emotions, reacting to every word, every action, every little test thrown their way by a woman who's trying to see what he's really made of. And those tests, they're not going anywhere. Women test you not because they want to hurt you, but because they want to know if you're strong enough to stand tall under pressure. Women don't respect a man who crumbles. They respect a man who remains solid. No matter what, the modern relationship landscape is built on a foundation of tests, games, and power plays. Women don't do this consciously all the time, but it's in their psychology when she pushes your buttons, when she teases, when she mentions another man or withdraws her attention. She's not just playing games, she's testing your resolve. She wants to see if you'll break, if you'll beg, if you'll lose control of your emotions and start chasing again. And every single time you react emotionally, you confirm her worst suspicion that you're not the man she thought you were. You're just another guy who can't handle the storm. But you're different. You're not that guy anymore. Staying composed means understanding the game and refusing to play it on her terms. It means holding your ground no matter what she throws at you. When she tests you, and trust me, she will, your response should be one of calm indifference, not anger, not frustration, not pleading, just calm, unbothered confidence. Because when you show her that you're not easily swayed, that her words and actions don't dictate your state of mind, you become the man she can't ignore. You become the man she respects. Think about this. Women are drawn to men who are in control of themselves. Emotional composure signals strength, maturity, and self-respect. It shows her that you're not a man who's easily manipulated, not a man who needs her validation to feel whole, and certainly not a man who will crumble at the slightest hint of drama. Women crave that kind of stability, especially in today's world where most men are too weak to provide it the moment you lose your cool. You lose her respect, but the moment you stay calm, no matter how much she tests you, you gain something far more valuable than her attention. You gain her admiration. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're in a heated conversation with a woman. She's throwing everything at you. Accusations, doubts, passive-aggressive comments. Most men in this situation would panic. They try to explain themselves, justify their actions, or worse, apologize for something they didn't even do wrong. And every word they say only digs them deeper into a hole of desperation. But not you. You're different. You stand there composed, listening, unshaken. Your response is measured, calm, and confident. You're not defending yourself because you know you don't need to. You're not raising your voice because you're in control of the situation. And as she watches you handle the moment with that kind of strength, something changes in her. She realizes she's not dealing with a boy. She's dealing with a man. That's the power of staying composed. It's not about being cold or dismissive. It's about being grounded in who you are and refusing to let anyone shake that foundation. Women respect a man who respects himself, and nothing communicates self-respect louder than composure. When you stay calm under pressure, you send a message. I'm not here to play games. I'm not here to chase. I'm here to lead, to stand tall, and to live life on my own terms. Now let's go deeper into why this works. Women are emotional creatures. They feel things deeply, and they're constantly looking for someone who can balance that intensity with calm steady energy when you react emotionally. You're mirroring her chaos, and chaos plus chaos equals disaster. But when you stay composed, you become her anchor. You become the stability she's searching for, even if she doesn't realize it. And that stability is what separates you from every other man she's ever met. But staying composed isn't just about how you handle her test. It's about how you handle yourself in every aspect of life. It's about how you carry yourself, how you walk into a room, how you face challenges, and how you respond to setbacks. A man who is composed in his relationship is a man who is composed in his career, in his friendships, and in his pursuit of his goals. Composure is a lifestyle, not a tactic. It's about knowing your worth and refusing to let anyone dictate how you feel or how you act. Let me give you an example of what this looks like in practice, imagine. She suddenly pulls back, she stops texting as much, stops initiating plans, and seems distant. Most men would panic. They'd start overthinking, overanalyzing, and overreacting. They'd flood her with messages, trying to figure out what's wrong, trying to win her back. But you're different. You notice the distance, but you don't react. You don't chase. Instead, you use that time to focus on yourself. You hit the gym, work on your goals, and keep living your life. And when she finally reaches out curious about why you didn't react, you simply smile and say, "I've been busy." That's it. No drama, no explanations, no desperation, just calm, composed. Confidence, and do you know what happens next? She starts chasing you. She starts putting in the effort. She starts valuing your attention because she realizes it's not something you give away lightly. She sees you as the man who can't be controlled, the man who stands firm, the man who leads, and that, my friend, is the ultimate power. Staying composed is about more than just winning her respect. It's about becoming the kind of man who respects himself. It's about building a life so full, so rich, so meaningful that no test, no drama, no game can ever shake you. It's about knowing that your worth isn't determined by her approval or anyone else's. Your worth comes from within, from the man you choose to be every single day. The next time you're tested, the next time she pushes your buttons or tries to throw you off balance. Remember this: you are the mountain, not the storm. Let her words and actions wash over you like the wind against the rock. Stay grounded, stay strong, and stay composed, because when you do, you become the man. She can't forget the man she respects, admires, and craves. That's the power of composure, and it's a power every man deserves to master. Number 4, how to handle the shift when the dynamic shifts, when she starts chasing. And when the balance of power flips, this is where most men lose their footing. This is where they overthink, get emotional, or revert to old patterns that undo everything they've worked to build. But not you. You're different. You're here to learn how to master the shift, to own the new dynamic, and to take complete control of your life and relationships. This isn't about winning her back or playing some manipulative game. It's about choosing how you respond when the tides turn in your favor. The shift in dynamics is the ultimate test of your growth. When she starts chasing you, when she starts texting more often, trying harder, or suddenly making you her priority, your next move is critical. Many men, when faced with this newfound attention, slip back into old habits. They start chasing again, giving away their power and undoing the respect they've just earned. They think she's back, so I've won. But winning isn't just about her coming back. Winning is about staying in control, maintaining your standards, and choosing whether or not you even want her back. You need to understand that just because she's chasing doesn't mean she's changed. Women can be driven by emotions in the moment, but those emotions don't always lead to lasting transformation. Her effort might be real, but you have to ask yourself, is it genuine? Has she truly realized your value, or is she just reacting to the fear of losing you? This is where you must look beyond her actions and into her intentions. Is she putting in effort because she respects you? Because she values you? Because she sees you as the man she wants to be with long term? Or is she just afraid of losing the comfort of your attention? This is why the shift isn't just about her. It's about you. It's about stepping back and assessing the relationship with clarity and logic, not emotion. You have to ask yourself the hard questions. Does this woman align with your values, your goals, your vision for the future? Does she bring out the best in you, or does she drain your energy? Is she someone you can build with, or is she someone who takes more than she gives? These aren't easy questions, but they're necessary because the truth is not every woman who chases you deserves to be in your life if you decide she's worth it. If you decide to give her another chance, you need to set the tone. You can't go back to the dynamic you had before where you were the one chasing, sacrificing, and bending over backward to make her happy. The new dynamic has to be built on mutual respect, effort, and understanding. She needs to know that your attention is earned, not given freely. She needs to understand that your time and energy are valuable, and that being in your life is a privilege, not a right. You do this by maintaining your standards and boundaries. Don't let her slip back into old patterns of behavior. If she starts taking you for granted again, if she stops putting in effort, if she begins testing your resolve, you need to be prepared to walk away. Because the moment you compromise your standards, the moment you let her disrespect your time and energy, is the moment you lose the power you've worked so hard to reclaim. And once that happens, the dynamic will shift back in her favor. But if you decide she's not worth it, if you realize that her effort is temporary or insincere, then you need to let her go. Not with anger, not with bitterness, but with strength and clarity. Walking away isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of self-respect. It shows that you value yourself enough to walk away from anything that doesn't serve you, anything that doesn't align with the man you're becoming. And when you walk away, you do so with your head held high, knowing that you've made the right decision for yourself. The beauty of the shift is that it puts the power back in your hands for the first time. You get to decide how the relationship plays out. You get to choose whether or not she deserves a place in your life. And that choice, that power, is what separates men who lead from men who follow. It's what separates the men who are respected from the men who are used. When you handle the shift with strength, composure, and clarity, you not only gain her respect, you gain your own number 5. The power of focused detachment, at the core of everything we've discussed, lies one simple truth. Your power as a man comes from your ability to detach. Focused detachment is the ultimate weapon in your arsenal, the key to mastering yourself, your relationships, and your life. It's not about being cold or emotionless. It's about being in control. It's about refusing to let anyone or anything dictate your value, your worth, or your peace of mind. It's about living life on your terms and never compromising your standards for anyone. Detachment isn't just about walking away from a woman who doesn't value you. It's about walking away from anything that no longer serves you. Whether it's a toxic relationship, a dead-end job, or a lifestyle that doesn't align with your goals. Detachment is about prioritizing yourself, your growth, and your happiness above all else. It's about understanding that your time and energy are limited, and choosing to invest them wisely. When you master detachment, you free yourself from the need for external validation. You stop seeking approval from others and start living for yourself. This is where true confidence comes from. Not from how others see you, but from how you see yourself when you no longer need her attention, her approval, or her affection to feel whole. You become the man she can't ignore. You become the man who stands out in a world full of desperate, needy men. But focused detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you shut yourself off from relationships or emotions. It means you care from a place of strength, not weakness. You give without expecting anything in return. You love without losing yourself in the process. You remain open to connection, but you never allow that connection to define you. This is the balance that so many men struggle to find. They either care too much, sacrificing their identity in the process, or they care too little, shutting themselves off from the world. Detachment is the middle ground. It's the path of the strong, the confident, the unapologetically masculine. When you practice focused detachment, you send a powerful message to the world. I am enough. You show women that you don't need them to feel complete. You show other men that you're not afraid to stand alone. And most importantly, you show yourself that you have the strength to walk away from anything that doesn't align with your values. This is the ultimate red pill, the realization that your power doesn't come from chasing, from begging, or from compromising. Your power comes from within, from your ability to detach, to focus on yourself, and to live life on your terms. This is what makes you a man, not the validation you receive from others, but the respect you have for yourself. And when you master this, when you embody this, you become unstoppable focused. Detachment is the foundation of everything we've discussed. It's the key to handling the shift in dynamics, to staying composed, and to navigating modern relationships with confidence and clarity. It's not just a mindset, it's a way of life. And when you embrace it, you'll find that everything else falls into place. The right women will be drawn to you. The wrong women will fall away, and you'll finally be free to live life on your own terms, as the man you were always meant to be. If this resonated with you, if you're ready to stop chasing and start living, type "I'm done chasing" in the comments right now. And if you want more content like this, support the channel by subscribing and turning on notifications. The more you engage, the more YouTube will recommend this content to men who need it together. We can build a community of men who refuse to settle, who demand respect, and who live life on their own terms.